What it do, wrestling world? Welcome to Over the Top Rope Wrestling Show at prime time. It's your boy, Mr. Steal Your Dibs. And on the other side, it's my brother from another, Tantalizing Tony. My brother, what it do?
First things first, good evening, sir. And we are in prime time, where we should be all the time. I want to say one thing. The opening graphic is always beautiful. We got to change a few of those pictures. A few of those pictures, I'm looking a little thick. And now I'm not so thick. So we got to change that. We got to maybe take some more pictures together where I'm looking svelte.
All right. Well, you go ahead and send me some of those pictures. I can make that happen. And I mean, we got a bunch of people on with us today. Melinda Ford, how you doing? Ashley's WWE fan podcast. Congratulations. You graduated from high school today. Congratulations.
And
Tiffany, go ahead.
I'm sorry. That's Mary under Melinda Ford's name. Melinda passed away, so that's Mary,
That's
her
right,
sister.
Mary. That's right. That's right.
But it's good to say Melinda anyway, because we still get to say her name and put it in the atmosphere. So
That's correct. Tiffany, what's happening? How you doing? What's up, Louie? Jason Jackson from the Family But Not
double
Blood crew. What's happening?
double J.
Double J, that's what we call them. That's right. What's happening? Thank y'all for tuning in. On today's show, we're going to talk about should Hulk Hogan versus Steve Austin should have happened. Also,
What?
also Booker T kind of goes off on Seth Rollins. Was he correct or wrong about that?
Can you dig it, sucker?
And we might as well get right into it. The biggest wrestling news of this whole week has been about Sasha Banks and Naomi. For those of you who do not know what happened, Coach Nunn, what's happening? We got Coach Nunn in the house, also part of the Family But Not Blood crew. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you who does not know what happened, Sasha and Naomi were supposed to be in this 6-woman match. Okay, everyone against everyone, and Naomi was supposed to get the win and go on to face Bianca, but they had a problem with the creative direction. And here's the story. Supposedly, what we've been told. Okay, so we're gonna go with that. Naomi was supposed to get the win, but she was supposed to pin Sasha Banks. Naomi and Sasha are the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. They didn't like that at all. So they went up to Creative.
They didn't like it.
Creative didn't like it. Then
They
Naomi,
they they being creative, or they being Sasha and Naomi.
well, Sasha and Naomi didn't like it. They went to Creative, and supposedly Creative was supposed to make a change. Don't know if that change happened or not. You may know a little bit more. But then they went to Vince, and Vince supposedly said he wasn't changing the situation. He was gonna leave it alone. So with that being said, Naomi and Sasha Banks, they had a few discussions amongst themselves and came to a conclusion to where they went up to John Laurinaitis, who was head of creative, put the tag team belts on his desk, and they walked out of Monday Night Raw. Tantalizing, I'll let you go first. If you got more to put into this story, go right ahead. But I'll let you go first with this situation. Give us all your thoughts and everything.
My God, we'll be until Thursday. So here's the deal. Everything you said was pretty accurate from what we heard. Here's my problem. And please forgive my dog that's crying. He's in the cage. He's been a bad boy. He's got to stay there. Here's my issue. I'm watching a lot of different social media platforms, a lot of different wrestling pages, people who I respect. I'll even shout out the Jabba Tears podcast. Shout out to Jabba Tears, who is a great podcast. They do a great job. Always have great things to say, always a great, energy and everything. And they support Naomi and Sasha. And I support them as well. I don't support their decision. I'm going to tell you why. Okay? Let's separate these two. First of all, let's put Naomi to the side for a second, and let's talk about Miss Sasha Banks. Everybody knows the love-hate relationship that I have with Sasha Banks. I love Sasha Banks, and I hate to love her sometimes, and I hate that I love her, and I love that I hate her. Here's the thing. I think Sasha Banks is one of the greatest talents in the history of WWE. I think Sasha Banks has brought such a different dynamic to the women's division of wrestling. I think Sasha Banks, bar none, top 5 all time already. That means you're up there with Trish Stratus, Lita, Charlotte, of course. And even though I hate to say it, somebody like the Fabulous Moolah, who was a longtime champion, who is a legend. Not to mention you have, AJ Lee's, on and on you can go on. Here's my problem. Jared, you work for UPS.
Correct.
You have a boss.
I do.
If your boss tells you, hey, you got 450 pieces to do today, are you going to say, well, I should only have 40 pieces today? And if you put your brown shirt or your brown shorts on the desk, you going to still have a job?
No, I wouldn't. I'll be fired.
Did you sign a contract?
No contract.
She did. End of story, everybody. I'm sorry. This is wrestling. I don't know what the argument is. We know how wrestling works. Forget wrestling. We know how sports entertainment in the WWF/E works. Let me give you a list of failed gimmicks. Manitor, The Goon, Aldo Montoya, Duke the Drumster Drosy, Lord Tensai, the Gobbledygooker, Abe Knuckleball Schwartz, the Brooklyn Brawler. I can go on and on and on and on. Adam Bomb, well done. Not to mention all the name changes they're doing lately. Explain to me this. Let's do this. My name is Tantalizing, everybody. I used to wrestle for the HWA, the Hardcore Wrestling Alliance. The booker was John Watson, Paul Laurier, Mike Norman. Hey, here's how the match is going. You and Psycho Kevin Bates are going to be involved in a match. You're going to win by disqualification because your bodyguard's going to grab Kevin's leg and you're going to roll him up with a pin, hook the tights. No, I don't want to do that. I want to put my finisher on him, and I want to put his finisher on him, and I want to pin him 1, 2, 3 as slow as possible, and I want the title the same night, or I'm out of here. If that's the case, that means you can walk out whenever you're happy. I'm not saying the women's tag team titles aren't booked wrong. They are booked terribly. They booked them terribly. They've never respected the tag team champions, no matter who they are. My problem with Sasha Banks is this. You are not Stone Cold Steve Austin. You are not Brock Lesnar. You are not The Rock. You are not John Cena. Not yet. You're not CM Punk. As much as I hate to admit it. Yes, there have been people that have walked out and took their ball and went home. Stone Cold Steve Austin had a legitimate gripe to me. They wanted to have him job to Brock Lesnar on television. When he said, I don't mind jobbing, let's put this on the pay-per-view. That's a legitimate walkout. Here's my other issue with this. Naomi was going to pin Sasha. Yeah, the tag team champions to pin each other. Okay, it's stupid. But how do you know what the end game was? According to my sources, Naomi was supposed to go against Bianca, and then Sasha was supposed to go against Ronda. That was the plan. Do you hear the same thing?
I read the same thing. Correct.
Now here's my thing. Ronda Rousey, the most mainstream woman in WWE. You might not like her, but she sure puts asses in the seats because people love her, and she brings a different gravitas to the WWE that we don't see because we're not in the mainstream. We're just in the wrestling world. What's the big deal if you're going to job Ronda Rousey when she is the SmackDown Women's Champion? When you already been a 4-time Women's Champion, not to mention Sasha Banks, you've done something that hundreds and thousands of wrestlers have never done. You have main evented WrestleMania. Sasha Banks main evented WrestleMania. I don't care if you say it was Saturday night. WrestleMania is now a 2-night event. There's a main event on Saturday. There's a main event on Sunday. Stone Cold Steve Austin just main evented Saturday night, which means you're in a group of elite wrestlers. You just main evented Saturday night. You're the first person to main event a Saturday night's WrestleMania. You and Bianca, the first 2 people to do it. Stone Cold followed in your footsteps. What's her problem? She's a Grand Slam champion. She's a 4-time women's champion, NXT champion, tag team champion, 6-time, whatever. Main event WrestleMania. You're in the Mandalorian. Oh, boo-hoo, Sasha Banks. I'm sorry. I wasn't going to go off. To hell with it. Boo-hoo, Sasha Banks. You didn't get your way because you didn't get booked properly. Guess what? Welcome to wrestling. Because if booking was supposed to where it's supposed to go, guess what, everybody? I would have been the USCW heavyweight champion in Pittsburgh 25 years ago because I was over more than anybody. But now they're not going to book me to win because that's not the storyline. If I want to start my own promotion, guess what? That's what I do. Cody didn't like it in WWE. He started AEW. He got what he wanted, and now he came back. Who in the blue hell is Sasha Banks to walk out? And now Naomi's caught up in it because she's following her. She might lose her job over this. For what? Because creative screwed up? Yes, creative sucks. We know it. Yes, they don't book the tag team champions right. We know it. Yes, they disrespect you. Yes, we get it. But you don't walk out. You do the job. And after the job's done, okay, Vince, I did the job. Here's why I'm upset. Can we fix this? Is there something we can do? You put the tag team titles on the table? Yo! Shayna Baszler ain't walking out. Even though Shayna Baszler has backed them, Shayna Baszler should be women's champion by now. Shayna Baszler, most dominant NXT women's champion, even over Asuka, was wrecking everybody. I see Ember Moon walk out. She got released. She should have been women's champion. Nope. What? I'm going to take my ball and go home? Not to mention, Sasha Banks' contract, she's making like $1.5 million. So you're rich. You're beautiful. You made it into WrestleMania. Okay, stuff doesn't go your way. You could be upset. You walk out, not to mention this. You're in a higher status than Naomi. Now you put her job in danger. Not to mention her husband and her brother-in-law work there. Now there's heat with them because now he got standing for his wife? I'm sorry. What's up, Ebony? Love you. I don't care. And a lot of people are going to come at me because we got to support them because they're black women. I support them being black women. I support creative sucking. I support them not getting done right. You're supposed to do the job the booker tells you to do if you're a real wrestler. I've lost so many matches to people who are beneath me in the ring. I've seen people in the WWE lose. Let's talk about Ricochet, who didn't get a shot. Let's talk about Apollo Crews, who hasn't gotten his just due. Where is Keith Lee? Where is Karrion Kross? What about all those people? So you don't get your way, we're going to make a statement and throw our titles on the table, and we're going to walk away? Okay, walk away. Now you're suspended. Now you're stripped of the titles. The first ever black tag team champions stripped of the title. Just like Miss America. The first black Miss America stripped of the title because she wanted to show ass in Playboy. I said it. How come every time let's go there, let's go. As black people get mad, I'm going to quit. You're replaceable, Sasha Banks. Everybody's replaceable. Ask Hulk Hogan. Ask John Cena. Ask the Ultimate Warrior. Ask CM Punk. You're replaceable. Because if I die tomorrow, guess what? They will say, oh, we love Tantalizing Tony. Tony's great. My spot gonna be filled. Out of here, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the Tantalizing one. Now it's my turn to give you my thoughts on it. And I love everything Tantalizing Tony just said. It's pretty much spot on, but I do have a little bit of a difference on some things that he says. I believe every wrestler, especially of Sasha Banks' stature, has the right to an opinion, to have an opinion and bring it up to creative. I believe they have that right. And if creative doesn't like it, you still have a job to do. That is correct. I believe the frustration has been building with Sasha Banks for quite some time now. Let me explain, ladies and gentlemen. Once upon a time, Sasha Banks was 0-6 at WrestleMania. Okay? 0-6. Means she lost to Charlotte at 32. 33 in Orlando, Bayley won the match. 34, Naomi wins the Battle Royal. WrestleMania 35, she and Bayley lost the tag team belts. To who? The Iconics. Sasha asked for a release. Vince did not grant the release. Sasha comes back 4.5 months later. 36, Bayley wins the Fatal 5-Way match for the SmackDown Championship. 37, Sasha Banks loses to Bianca.
In the main event.
In the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. Yes, sir. And now here we are, WrestleMania 38. Sasha finally gets her first win, as you see in the picture. That's from WrestleMania 38. But this was done to satisfy Sasha Banks. You know why? Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back a little bit after WrestleMania 37. I said on this show, Sasha Banks and Charlotte will happen at 38. I said this. And guess what? That was the plan to happen. Sasha and Charlotte. We saw snippets throughout SmackDown every so many months of them getting in each other's faces. They were saving this for WrestleMania. What happens to Sasha Banks? She gets pushed to the back of the line by Ronda Rousey. Now, I agree with what you say with Ronda Rousey. She draws people. She's a money. She brings the money in. I get it. I certainly get it. But I'd be damned on a wrestling show if you're gonna put Ronda Rousey before Sasha Banks. When Sasha has busted her ass off for 10 years for this company. 10 years. Okay? And you're gonna put her behind somebody that's only been with the company for 1 year, that they pushed for 1 year, and the lady was gone for 3 years. Sasha had to swallow that pill. She didn't complain about it. She swallowed the pill and took it. Now, you're going to have Naomi pin Sasha. When they're the tag team champions and there's no direction on where to go with these tag team belts, period. And they're asking, when do we start our storyline with Doudrop and Nikki? And that happens, I understand the frustration. Now, I'm not saying walk out, Tony. I'm not saying at all, because this is my job and that pays my bills. But do they have every right? Yes, they do. They do. Now, let me say this. What I also don't like is how the IWC, okay, how they're getting on Naomi and Sasha by calling them spoiled. They're some little brats. How could they do this? Time out. Let's bring this back some. Didn't Stone Cold walk out? Nobody can blame about Stone Cold walking out. Was it legitimate like you said, Tony? Hell yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Didn't CM Punk just quit and he left? And for 7 years straight, we still kept hearing CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk. I didn't hear one bad thing about him leaving the company. He had plenty of support. Hey, Tony Storm quit. She didn't like what was happening to her. She quit. Oh man, Tony Storm, way to stand up for yourself. So why Bianca and Naomi can't stand up for themselves? I like to know, people. Why? Is it dislike? Is it Sasha's behavior sometimes, from past that y'all don't like? Something to do with race? I like to know. Because I have a right to stand up for myself. So does Tony. Why don't they? Why are they called brats? I like to know. End of the day, I agree with you. They shouldn't have walked out. That I do agree with. But they have the right. I think that was a dumb decision by creative. You agree with that? To have Naomi pin her tag team partner. I think that's crazy. And yes, the rumors was Naomi wins. She goes and face Bianca. Sasha goes and face Ronda. But they both were going to lose. I don't think they both have a problem losing to Bianca, but I think Sasha has a problem with losing to Ronda.
And there's a problem. And let me just cut you off right there.
Go ahead.
Now, and this is where we get into things. Notice this right here. I'm pretty sure Naomi wouldn't have minded jobbing to Bianca. When's the last time we seen Naomi in a championship match?
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Right. Right, which means this would have been good for her. This is what we don't. I'm sorry to cut you. I just wanted. You made a great point, and I had to get in on it. We don't know what the plan was after both these women lost their matches. Because if I'm the booker and things being booked properly, okay, you have a killer match between Bianca and Naomi. And you have it to the point where Naomi almost wins. You have a killer match between Sasha and Bianca. Where you have Sasha and Ronda, where Sasha almost wins. They come on Raw the next night and like, look, we almost had the tag team titles and both women's titles. We just missed it by that much, which means, you know what? We gotta focus on the tag team titles more. Any woman that wants to come get them. We're gonna run roughshod of all you bitches. That could have been the direction they were going, to make them ultimate badasses, to run through the women's division and make those tag titles mean something. We don't know what would have happened because they walked out. And there's the problem. And here's another thing. I saw a great comment from Ebony. It says, protect black women. I agree 100%. But as a black woman from the service, you know this, Ebony. You have fought for this country. You signed a contract. I know if you're in the front lines, you ain't walking back. You ain't quitting. You ain't throwing your uniform down. And that's the same way I see it when you sign a contract. When you put your name on the dotted line, that name means something. If you want to look at the Declaration of Independence, regardless of how flawed that document may be to some people, those people wrote their names to make a better country for Americans. When you sign your name on the dotted line at the bank, that means this is your money. When you sign your name on your W-2, means you paying your taxes. When you sign the name on your college degree, means you graduated. You sign your name, that is like your blood. That is saying, I am proud of me put my name on the dotted line, and I'm a ride for this company no matter what. So, is it WWE full of shit sometimes? Yes. Do they make a million mistakes? Yes. Do they book people wrong? Yes. But she signed a contract. This means this. So now she done walked out. Know what? Now Roman's not happy that they didn't create another title for him. He gonna walk out. Oh, now Ricochet gonna walk out. Oh, now Paul Heyman gonna walk out. Oh, now Doudrop. So everybody gonna walk out when they mad? So every time you don't get your way, I'm gonna walk out. If you did that at work, nobody in UPS would be driving. If I did it at my school, there'd be no teachers teaching. There'd be no drivers driving the bus. You cannot walk out on your job because you don't like it. What you do is this. If you don't like the conditions, help change them. Or ride that contract out and go sign with another company or go independent or go find yourself a new job.
Well said. Well said. Do you think it's a work? I don't. I'm saying definitely not.
They could turn it into one. They
Oh
could
yeah,
make
definitely.
they could make this gold. And I don't want people to think I don't support them complaining and wanting something better for the women's tag team because I want these titles to work. But guess what they've done now? They've diminished them. Everything they wanted to do is worse now because guess what? Now we're going to have a tournament to name 2 more tag team champions that aren't going to be good. They're going to the exact thing they were trying to do. It did reverse. They had the multiverse. We want these tag team titles to be we want them to be important. Well, now who's going to win them? The next person that win them aren't beating the legitimate champions. So they're transitional champions. They're paper champions. The titles mean nothing now.
They only had the titles for a month and a half. So yes, it's transitional champions, without a doubt.
But we don't know how long they were going to be champs.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Because they didn't give it a chance.
That's the truth. But I'll say this: the only time those belts really meant something was when Alexa Bliss and Nikki had it, and when Sasha and Bayley had it. That's the only time. Other than that, anybody else who had those belts, and I'm saying Sasha and Bayley the second time, when they had both tag teams, the SmackDown and the Raw belts, they had a story with those belts. But other than that, those belts have been meaningless. There's no storyline with it, and to me, I wouldn't care if they got rid of those belts.
I don't agree with that, but I want to say one more thing. As a former wrestler, a former full-time wrestler, only an elite few make it to the WWF/E. If they told me, "Hey, Tantalizing Tony, you're gonna come and you're gonna wear a chicken suit, and you're gonna be the leader of the nation of chickenization," guess what? I'll be the best chicken herder in the WWE until I can get myself over another way. This is people's dreams. People kill for this.
Yes, sir.
The prototype was just released. How about all the women that's not getting a shot? Xia Li, Aaliyah, Raquel Gonzalez had to change her name. She's spitting in their faces, and as a black woman, she's a trendsetter and a trailblazer. What she should have did was, you know what? I'm gonna do this job. I'm gonna toe the line, and I'm gonna keep complaining and keep voicing my opinion until someone hears me. But I'm not gonna quit, because quitting gets me nowhere. She's not a billionaire. She works for a billionaire.
Yes, sir.
She's gonna get released or fired or put in a shittier storyline or sit out her contract. So what has she done? She's hurt everybody. She's hurt Naomi. She hurt the tag titles. What's it do for Bayley when she comes back? You don't know what the story would have been.
Point well said. Ladies and gentlemen, we staying on this topic with Sasha and Naomi. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm Mr. Steele Dibs. He's Tantalizing Tony. Ariane Andrews, known as Cameron, says Naomi was manipulated to walking out from Sasha. And I'm going to read what Ariane Andrews said. What happened, I think, I'm just going to remove Sasha because Sasha's done this before. Sasha's a great athlete. Let me not get this twisted because I don't want fans coming for me. She's definitely deserved. Like, she's a great wrestler. She's a great character. She does what she has to do. I just don't think Naomi would just leave. And I believe she was manipulated into leaving. My girl Naomi, she wouldn't do this. And I feel like she wouldn't do this unless she had someone manipulating and telling her how to do this. Let's best believe if I was here, coming as a Funkadactyl, we wouldn't have had this happen at all. Um, let me go first because it's
Please do. I'm
yeah,
a roast. I'm a roast her.
because last I checked, Naomi is a grown woman and has free will. If Naomi did not want to leave, she should have said right then and there, "I'm not leaving. I'm not walking out. I will hold on to my belt." Plain and simple. No matter how much peer pressure Sasha put on her, if she did at all, we don't know. But Naomi, to me, is a strong woman, and I don't think you can just force her to do anything. I'm sorry. Um, Also, I feel that this is a way for Ariana Andrews to get her name back out into the public eye. That's how I feel about this. Plain and simple. That's all this was. No one asked Ariana Andrews to speak at all about the situation, but she did. And like I said, it's to get back into the public eye. And pretty much majority of people doesn't care about what she has to say. Go ahead, Tantalizing.
Listen, let's keep this 100. I like Cameron when she was in the Funkadactyls. I met her at WrestleMania 27, and she big timed me on in the aisleway. I had a better seat than she did. She was in Tough Enough. I had a better seat than she did at WrestleMania 27 in Atlanta. Okay, just for the record. And she wanted to take a picture. I was like, "Come on." She's like, "Oh, you." She said, "Oh, I don't got time for you." I said, "Who you got time for exactly? Nobody's trying to get your autograph, girlfriend." If you watch her on Total Divas, she was always acting like she was better than she was. Hey, Cameron, if you were so good, how come you not wrestling? How come you came back as a gimmick for the Royal Rumble? Huh? I ain't see nobody saying bring back the Funkadactyls. Nobody want a Funkadactyl reunion.
No.
Ariane, Cameron, whatever your name is, go back to obscurity. Go back to whatever reality TV show you want to go on and go get some better foundation on your face because your skin looks one color and your face looks another. I don't care. Who cares what your opinion? Nobody cares. You're not relevant. Yeah, Jared's right. Let's get your name. Let's get your name into the public eye because I haven't been a piece of the WWF since Obama was president. Are you ready? Hello, you ready? Coming. All right. So I'm gonna go mobile. So Ariane Grande, whatever your name is, Andrews, Cameron Diaz, whoever you are, who is she anyway? I don't remember her. Boo! Who cares? Your opinion means nothing. Shut up! Your opinion means nothing. Nothing. Kira's gonna sit in this seat. I'm gonna go mobile, and I'll see you guys soon for the next topic. Ariana.
That's Tantalizing Tony. He'll be back with us in a second. Kira, it's not
Yes.
produce everybody.
Oh Lord, the dogs are going crazy.
Shut up, dog.
Kira, what are your thoughts about this situation with Sasha and Naomi?
Well, I haven't. Quiet. I haven't really been looking too much into it, but after all that was just said, I'm pretty sure I can piece together a thought. I feel like Naomi was a little influenced by Sasha Banks, so I see where Cameron or whatever her name is coming from. But as Tony said, Naomi is her own person, so she can make her own decisions. I'm just saying maybe Sasha may have influenced her. Maybe she put something in her mind that she should walk out with her. Or maybe Naomi was just like, if we both walk out, then they'll get the message. Maybe it was that kind of situation. But I don't think anyone got the message that they were trying to send, that the women's tag team championships were disrespected. But I feel as if they wanted to send a message, it could have been a lot more professional than that, because now they're going to throw together a bunch of tag teams. Like, there's no real tag teams in the women's division in WWE. They're just thrown together. So this new tag team championship, unless it's like Bailey with someone else, which I hope they don't do, or unless it's like someone really good that they put together, I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna add any to the championships that Naomi and Sasha Banks would have given it.
Point well said. Point well said, Kira. Everybody,
She's
thank you
pretty.
for tuning in with us. We are still
She's
talking
pretty
about
smart.
Sasha. Oh yeah, without a doubt. We're still on the topic of Sasha Banks and Naomi. The last part about this, if you watch Raw, if you watch SmackDown, there was some words about this happening. We've heard Jimmy Smith say something. Corey Graves said something. Michael Cole on SmackDown said that they let us down. Tantalizing. I've never seen commentators talk this way about anyone who has walked out. Not Stone Cold, not CM Punk. Do you think the commentators did right by saying what they said, even though they probably were told that from Vince in their ear?
You answered the question yourself, 100%. Their boss in your earpiece said, "Here's what you say." Guess what? Vince is the boss. That's who you work for. You do what the boss tells you. I'm a person about chain of command, as is Ebony. As if sometimes the general might bring you down the wrong road, but you don't know why. You follow orders. What else can you say? You mad at those guys because they did what their boss told them? They're supposed to lose their jobs? You know what, Vince? I'm not gonna say that. So Vince gonna come on live TV and fire him right there. Get out of here. Have his security move him? Get him out? Come on. We know Michael Cole and Corey Graves and all those guys love Sasha and love Naomi. Oh, those people leave. But if the boss says, "You sons of bitches on there, you better say this or you're out of here," what are you gonna do?
That's right.
You know what the phrase is. Don't cross the boss.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what happened, ladies and gentlemen. Vince got in their ear and told them to say this, and they said it. I really believe they did not want to say anything in regards to humiliating Sasha and Naomi, but once the boss spoke, it had to be done. What you think, Kira?
When Corey Graves first said that what they did was unprofessional, I was just flabbergasted that they even brought it up on air,
Correct.
like
Yes.
live
Yes.
on TV. Because it just happened that night. It was so quick. They were so quick with the response. I don't think they wanted any false information getting out there and jeopardizing their company or their reputation, so they had to address it quickly. But originally I thought that it might have been for storyline purposes, because I was like, there's no way they would get on and say that this was unprofessional, especially about their own tag team champions. That's just craziness. That definitely disintegrates the championship reputation. But after other commentators kept saying stuff about it, I realized that it was something that was being told to them. So I can understand, as he said, they don't want to lose their jobs. But I don't think they should have said it. I don't think the commentator should have said that stuff on live TV. I feel like the statement that WWE posted, the official statement they posted, I feel like that was good enough. I don't
I
think
agree.
any other wrestlers or commentators should say anything about the situation, because that could be seen as unprofessional too.
I totally agree. Go ahead, Tantalizing.
Listen, Vince does not let anybody say anything he doesn't want them to say. They have a script. They are told how to talk. They are during the commentary. They are told, say this, go this way, go this route, say this, talk about this. Unprofessional. How can you say it's unprofessional for them to say it on air when it was unprofessional for them to walk out in the first place? They're just showing themselves as a company saying, okay, you guys want to work it on us? Well, guess what? We're going to one up you and show you walk out. We want to let people know you guys walked out and you are playing the baby role. That is the boss's prerogative. That's why they call you a boss. That's why you buy your own company. That's why you own your own company, to tell people what to do. You don't own your own company and have people tell you what to do. What's the point of owning the company? That's like somebody coming to my house, opening my fridge, drinking my lemonade, and saying you ain't getting none. Are you kidding me? I'm gonna say, yo, I'm gonna smack you with this lemonade in the back of your head. Go drink some water, biatch.
Rob Breezy, do we think it's a work? No, no, we do not think it's a work. We think
Nope.
this is real. DH Baller 1323. We will thank you for your for subscribing. Subscribe to Tantalizing Tony also. Don't just subscribe to me. Subscribe to my brother Tantalizing Tony. Subscribe to him also, and we definitely gonna reply with a sub to you, my brother. Definitely, we appreciate you.
Definitely. 100%.
Yes. Moving on. Booker T was in the news the other day, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to read to you what he said exactly in regards to Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. He was asked about their upcoming match at Hell in a Cell, and this is what he said. Of course, Seth Rollins needs this win more. I mean, right now, Cody Rhodes is 2-0 heading into the rubber match. I must say, Cody Rhodes, he's not one of those guys that had that easy route. He had to work for everything. Seth Rollins is a guy who made it to the top relatively easily. I must say he had a lot of help. Cody had to break himself down and rebuild himself, and that's the Cody Rhodes that we see today. Seth Rollins responded to Booker T, and he said this: the narrative is false. I started wrestling at 18 years old in back rooms of bars, in pole barns, at UAW halls, the occasional parking lot, lost money, broke bones, drive countless hours alone just to build a name that got erased the second I walked in the WWE door, meaning his original name, Tyler Black.
Tyler Black.
Yes. I'm going to go first on this. I love my man Booker T. Love him to, I love him to death. And he likes to try to keep it real, as we've seen with Bailey before. You know Bailey doesn't care for him. But when you start to talk about how somebody has it easy, you need to have your facts straight first. We've all seen videos of Seth Rollins in bingo halls and wait. There he is. What's up, Mikey? What's happening, man?
Hi, speak up.
Hi.
Good to see you, my brother. Yeah, your dad's right there. Yep. Tantalizing Tony will be back in a second. But you have to have your resources, or what you're talking about, credible. And we all know Seth Rollins started in high school gyms and everything. It just wasn't. They saw Seth one day working out. Hey, man, come to Ring of Honor. No. So don't be critical of somebody when you don't know their whole history, their whole story. You have to get the facts first before you speak about anything. And Booker T was wrong for what he said about Seth Rollins. Point blank. Period. Tantalizing.
Yes. You guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
I apologize, but I'm having a connection issue. Um, Listen, I don't know what Booker T is talking about. Booker T is well respected. I think he is a great. I think he's a great Hall of Famer and a great champion in his own right. But here's the thing, everybody. We all know that Seth Rollins, aka Tyler Black, aka Colby Lopez, paid his dues. Broken bones, no money, bro. That guy has been all around the independent scene, like he said, wrestling in backyards and bingo halls, basically.
Yes.
I think Booker T just I think Booker T's comments were maybe taken wrong. What I think is this. I think that what he meant is once he got to the WWE, it was easier for him.
Hey, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
I don't think Booker T meant the whole career. I think what he meant is once he got to WWE, he was chosen to be a leader. He was chosen to be champion. He is the second NXT champion, correct? Or the first? The first.
The first.
Right, he's the first NXT champion. Big E's the second. He's the first NXT champion. He was well loved by Dusty Rhodes and everybody in the back, but it's only because of the name that he built when he was on the independent scene, when he was in Ring of Honor. So I don't think Booker T meant it word for word that um, Seth Rollins didn't pay his dues. I think what he meant is once he made it to the WWE, it was easy for him. And even then, it wasn't easy because Seth Rollins had to wrestle his way up.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
So I just think he meant. I think that he was comparing Cody. That Cody had the the cloud of Dusty Rhodes and Goldust over his head. So he already had two strikes against him because you got to live up to those two.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to leave and rename himself because look, he got stuck in that Stardust, that shitty Stardust gimmick. And I think Booker T just meant it differently than a lot of people are taking it. Booker T's a very smart man, two-time Hall of Famer. He's not a guy that just throws out BS quotes unless, you know, he means what he's saying. But I think that we're interpreting it differently than it really is.
Good point, my brother. Good point. Kira, what are your thoughts?
I think Booker T is a very smart and tactical celebrity, I would say. So at this point, when he is doing interviews and whatnot, he knows what to and what not to say. So I feel like we are misinterpreting it just a little bit, as Tony said.
Mm-hmm.
But for him to say that Seth Rollins had a little easier than Cody Rhodes, I feel like that'd be not too true because if we are talking about when Seth Rollins started in WWE, I think even then, Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes both had to climb a good distance to get to where they are today, because usually in WWE they like to push like the bigger guys, like the ones that like have the appearance, the image of a world champion, I guess you can say. And Seth
Like a
Rollins,
like a Drew McIntyre or like a Roman Reigns, a big dude. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Good point, Kira.
Yes.
so Seth Rollins just doesn't. I feel like at that time they were especially um, pushing bigger guys. So he definitely did. He was in the same category, I feel like, as Cody Rhodes, having to push because of how he looked. But they both got to a great point, and I feel like they both fought a long and hard fight. So I don't know if it's really comparable when they started in WWE, because I don't know like their beginnings in WWE too well. But yeah, I can say they both they both climbed a long ladder.
Well said. Thank y'all for tuning in. Over the top rope. I'm Mr. Steal Your Dibs. We have my brother Tantalizing Tony and our producer Kira Mania, Miss Kira. We're going to the last topic, everybody, and it has to do with the immortal Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's a match that we never got. Kind of robbed from that match. And it was supposed to be the matchup at WrestleMania 18. Stone Cold did not want the match. He felt that the match wouldn't be as good, as he felt also that Hulk Hogan wasn't in his prime anymore. So he declined the match. And The Rock got the match with Hulk Hogan. Austin years later stated that he regrets not taking that match with Hulk Hogan, but he still says he didn't think it would be a good match and didn't think the chemistry would be there. Um, I'll go first. I am in agreement with Stone Cold Steve Austin. Let me get that out the way first. He was the man at the time. He in The Rock. Hogan is almost 50 years old. So, yes, he's out of his prime. And I can see how Stone Cold can see things. I don't have a problem with what he says. But now, the fan in me, Kira, the fan in me, yes, this is a match that I would have loved to see. You know why? Because Hogan was the face of WWF. Stone Cold was the face of WWF/WWE. Two of the biggest names of all times going at it at WrestleMania 18 or SummerSlam, whatever. Everybody would have tuned in just to see this match. It didn't have to be good. It could have been great. It could have been bad, mediocre, whatever. But the fans would have loved to see this match. We, as fans, were robbed from seeing this match. Period. Point blank. Now, Austin's 57. Hogan's almost 270. It's never going to happen. So we don't need to get excited about Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin being in a wrestling ring anytime soon. We don't need that. But oh man, oh man, did I say the wrong name of Hogan and Steve Austin? Did I say the wrong name? Y'all cheering or y'all booing? Which one? You cheering or you booing? Cheering or booing? I need to know. But anyway, we as fans were robbed from this match. And I would have loved to see it, but it's not going to happen. But it is what it is. I understand Stone Cold's part of it, but me as a fan, I would have loved it. So, all good. Tantalizing.
Apologies for the dogs, everybody. I'm so sorry. You know my house is crazy. It's how it goes. Listen, everybody knows that Stone Cold versus Hogan would have been awesome. But the chemistries would have been off. The Rock carried that match.
Yeah.
The Rock has a different style that Stone Cold does not have. Got to realize, Stone Cold changed his entire style. Stone Cold was a great mat wrestler back in the day, but once he got bulky and became Stone Cold, he wasn't doing the same things. What kind of a match would that have been? It would have been some punches, kicks, stomps, stunners.
Yeah.
Rocky brings a different dynamic to the ring. More versatile than Stone Cold, in my opinion. Not better than Stone Cold, just more versatile. We've seen the dream match between Hogan. We've seen the dream match between Stone Cold and The Rock, so we know they're great together. Yes. But this dream match right here did not happen for a reason. I'm sad to say it didn't happen because I would love to see Stone Cold stun Hogan out of his racist boots. I said it. So I'm sad it didn't happen. But everything for a reason. And we didn't get the match and we never will. And it's just it's things we got to move on. There's some matches we'll never see that would have been great. You know, we never going to see Cena versus Stone Cold, you know? Right. Yep. We're never going to see Hogan versus Cena.
Let me ask you a question. You were in your 20s when this was supposed to happen. I was 8 years old. Yeah. So but here it is. WrestleMania 8 was supposed to be Hogan Flair for the first time. And it didn't happen. You in your 20s, you understand, you at the time, then, me being a kid still, you're an adult, you understand the wrestling game better than I understand it. What were your thoughts about this not happening? The two biggest names in wrestling not happening at WrestleMania 8 when it was being promoted at first.
They were booked wrong from the beginning. Poor booking. When Flair came in, they booked it wrong. They brought him right in to challenge Hogan right off the bat. Ric Flair had the WCW title in his hand, and he called himself the Real World's Champion. They wrestled house show after house show after house show
Right.
way before WrestleMania. It took away from it. They booked it wrong. DQ after DQ after disqualification after count, booked wrong. I didn't care. Because to me, I didn't care. I never cared when we didn't have them at a WrestleMania, because to me, Hogan couldn't lace Ric Flair's boots.
True.
And this is before I even knew Hogan was a racist. I said it. I didn't say I didn't get caught on audio calling people the N-word. Don't get mad at me. So I don't care. F Hulk Hogan.
Last question. Do you feel the luster was gone from that match when it happened in WCW?
What? They had a match in WCW? Did they? See what I mean? Who cares? They blew it, and I think that was Vince's motive, to not give Ric Flair that big match, and to make sure if they ever ended up somewhere else together, it'd be watered down. And Vince was right.
Good point. Good point. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our show. We thank y'all for tuning in. Ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe to our YouTube pages.
Mm-hmm.
My brother, subscribe to his page, Tantalizing Tony. Also subscribe to my page, Mr. Steal Your Dibs Wrestling page. Without y'all, we don't have this. And we appreciate every one of our subscribers, everyone who's watching our shows, not just this show, other shows that we all do. We appreciate you so much. You got something you want to say?
Last thing I want to say that's non-wrestling related. In case you weren't watching my channel or saw my my Facebook post, yesterday was my 1 year surgery date. 1 year ago yesterday, I got gastric sleeve surgery to basically save my life. I was 390 pounds when this whole thing started about 18 months ago. On my day of surgery last year, May 21st, I was 350 pounds. Was it 350? Right? Yes. And I can honestly say today, and all past this past week, I've been checking the scale, been fluctuating back and forth. For the first time since the 1990s, I weigh 199 pounds.
Man, I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. I need to go ahead and change those pictures, man. I need to go ahead and do that.
I like that my face is a little thick. My neck, my neck, my shoulders look a little. I gotta start, getting some more. But the body's a little disproportionate right now. But it's a work in progress. Next year is when I'm going to look great. The first year is tough. I think, to toot my own horn, boop, boop, I did a great job.
Yes,
it's not easy, everybody. People think, oh, you get that surgery, and listen, you're sick a lot of vomiting, a lot of things you can't eat anymore. You got to stay on this diet, because what will happen if you don't, you can eat through the surgery and stretch out and be right back where you started from. I know a guy 500 pounds that used to be 300 pounds because he just, so it ain't going to happen to me. 1 year later, the Tantalizing one's still here. Double nickel next year. More to come. Wrestling this year. The channel's doing good. You at the big numbers. I got to catch your numbers. I'm going to get there someday. Listen, I can't complain, bro. Kara's graduating. I got Mike here. My life's good. Big Bucks Bobby doesn't know how to wash dishes, but that's okay. Listen, life is good. I'm breathing. I'm here with you, my boy. It's always a pleasure to be with you. Last year at WrestleMania, I couldn't even breathe. This year's WrestleMania, it was like, come on, catch up to me, suckers.
That's right. He's telling the truth, man, because he kept saying at 37, hold on, JB. And I'm like, take your time, bro. Take your time. But yes, sir. I'm happy for you, my brother. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. Once again, I'm going to shout out the family, But Not Blood crew, for watching the show. Dwight Jarrett Jr., part of that crew. Shout out to him, boy. Coach JB, James Bouye, my boy. He's part of that crew.
My bad.
He texted me. He watched the show. Look, family, but not blood crew. I need y'all to go ahead and subscribe to Tantalizing Tony also. Go ahead and do that. Do that for my boy, all right? Appreciate y'all for watching today. We're gonna be back next Sunday. That's cool.
What?
Next Sunday.
What?
Next Sunday.
What?
We're here.
Yeah.
We thank y'all for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate y'all. I'm Mr. Steal Your Dibs, and that's Tantalizing Tony. We'll see y'all next week. Until then, peace.
Stay tantalizing.